Well, hey everybody, Jim McGuigan here. Again, if you've tuned in and you're watching yet another one of my videos, thank you so very much. I really, truly appreciate it. I appreciate that you're here. Today I want to talk about something else that has to do with school. I'm going to start out by giving just a bit more info on, my diet and my program, but the bulk of these videos now, as if I'm going to continue them since the school year's beginning, I want to tap on some things, especially for the new teachers out there, the novices, my newbies, my beloved newbies. So this one is going to be no different. It's going to just another aspect, but I do want to clarify just a couple things too. That my eating program, my diet, the 3 meals a day, eating in between, and I told you that I brought my calorie count down to 2,300 calories a day, and simply what that means is I'm eating what I want, but I'm trying not to go over, and I'm making sure I don't go over 2,300 calories a day. Now that is 3 full meals a day and some snacks in between. A lot of times, I'm way under. Sometimes, some days it's been 2,000, calories in a day, whatever. And I'm not nitpicky to where it's down to the actual calorie count. You roughly know, if you're eating some chicken or you're eating some potatoes or you're eating something, how many calories it is. You can look it up. You can get a chart. You can write it down. You can, memorize it or whatever. But that's what I mean. That's eating better, eating smarter, eating more correctly, eating good food. The things I've cut out, sodas, completely cut out. I don't eat, and I miss it. I really do. I don't eat as much, candy and chocolate and cake and cupcakes and whatever. I really don't. I'm kind of pedaled that back. Now, have I completely cut those out? No, I don't want to, nor will I. I just, with my birthday cake, that's nearly finished. I'm having a slice of that, that factors into my 2,300. In other words, when I have a piece of cake, like that delicious chocolate cake from my dear colleague, Mrs. Daniels, I factor that in. That piece of cake isn't in addition to the 2,300. No, I factor it in. If I'm going to have a piece of cake and that thing's going to be 400 or 500 calories, well, that's a chunk out of my 2,300 for that day, and that's fine. I do that all. It's worth it. So if you're doing the calories, just make sure they're good calories. Make sure they're calories, 2,300. Stick with that, but at the same time, make sure you're eating better. Make sure that that's always a part of what you're doing. Eating better, eating right, eating good stuff. Believe me, take it from me. I feel so much better, and it's great, and I'm going to continue it. And it's easy to do because you're eating what you want, that makes it easy. Anyway, so that's that for that. In these videos, the couple videos before, when I was talking about school, the last video, yesterday's video, was about your classroom atmosphere. Very important, how you have your classroom decorated, what's on the walls. The whole thing about your classroom is, considering you're going to be spending so much time there, and so will your kids. Your classroom should be an extension of you. None of us are robots. None of us, we certainly want to have an atmosphere conducive to learning, but at the same time, these students, your students, are coming into your space, and that space will eventually, very soon, become their space. So, concentrate, think about who you are as a teacher, who you are as a person. Let that extend out of you, into your classroom. Make it an awesome one. Create an atmosphere that's welcoming and relaxing and all that kind of stuff. I'm colorblind. I can't see any color. So all the science behind colors do things for people. I have no doubt that it's real. If McDonald's uses yellow and oranges and reds because it's supposed to make you hungry or something, blue makes you sad, red brings about energy, whatever. I knowing that science, I've certainly had blue up. I've had red up. Reds are district color, red and white. Scarlet and white, I believe, is the actual scarlet, but red, just bring it in there. Bring some color. Even though I can't see color, I'm well aware of you color-seeing people, even though it's a color-biased world. Thank you very much. Color-seeing people have the right of way most of the time, but anyway. So make your classroom your own. Yesterday on yesterday's video, bringing up that classroom thing, newbies. I gave you two things, and I said your classroom and your classroom management, and I said classroom management is first. That's the most important thing. Newbies, that is the most important thing. If there is a list of 10 things, 10 of the most important things in your classroom, the first one will be classroom management as the most important, and the last will be curriculum. Now that's something I want to clarify, because when I've said many times in these videos where the curriculum doesn't matter, isn't as important, blah, 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 as other things. That is not to say, when I'm listening to the videos, I didn't mean it to sound as if what I was saying was that what we have to teach, our curriculum, the standards, what each student in my grade, 5th grade, must know by the end of the school year. Those standards are important. They absolutely are. Those are the things, the skills that every student needs to know. If they're in my 5th grade class for ELA, English Language Arts, and writing and social studies, I need to make sure that every one of those standards is taught, that those skills are modeled, and the students, have had ample time to practice and learn them. That is important. But as far as if you had a hierarchy of important things and you made a list of 10 things, the curriculum would be number 10. You cannot teach anyone anything until they are willing to be taught. And that's the secret behind a good teacher and a great teacher, or an effective teacher. You have got to get your kids to the position to where they are accepting of what you're given. Whatever you're shoveling out, they need to feel comfortable in taking it and learning from it. And it takes a while to get there. The beginning of the school year, the first couple of weeks should be spent getting to know your kids, talking to them. But curriculum doesn't have to begin on the first, second, third day, on the first week or the second week. You can put stuff out there to see what the kids know. Here, kids, show me how you write. Show me what you know. Nothing counts. You're just testing the waters, so to speak. The kids are going to test your waters. You test theirs. See what they know. But at the same time, get to know them. Talk to them. Now, this video, and I'm going to make this kind of short and sweet. I say that every time, and I promise you, I have all the intentions of doing that, but good intentions have launched wars. So anyway, I want to talk to you about, soon you're going to have open house. Our district, we're going to have an informal one, I mentioned on the other video, where students and their parents, they come in, they walk through the school, they take a tour, they'll come visit their teachers, if their teachers are there in the classrooms, working. And that's kind of fun. It's a chance for them to see their classroom if they haven't already. And then you have your formal open house where, it's a gathering, it's after school or it's at night. The parents come to the school, with their children or without. And they come to your classroom after a brief assembly. The principal talks to everybody. They come back to your classroom and you sit there, and it's really their first impression of you. And what's important to me about being a human being, not just being a teacher, not just being Jim McGuigan, about being a human being is I need to be upfront, straightforward with everyone, whether they be stranger, best friend, family, whatever. What you see with me is what you get. And, the people that I associate with, the people who are closest to me, and I don't have many, they're the same way. They're stand-up, straightforward kind of people. No fluff, no beating around the bush with things, no fake or phoniness. That's one thing a student can, they may not recognize it, but a student can sense a phony from 50 paces, believe me. But when you're talking to your parents, no matter when it is, whether it's that informal kind of open house or when you're there and they are your audience, first of all, captivate them. Introduce yourself. You've got to let them know, and it's full disclosure. At least it is with me, and I'm giving you a heads up here. I'm letting you know. Remember, you can take everything I ever say on these things with a grain of salt. You don't have to listen to anything, but if you're listening this far, then it means you're a bit interested. Listen closely. You have got to be honest with your parents. You have got to let them know what kind of a teacher you are. And even if you're new, be honest with that. There's nothing wrong with letting these parents know, hey, you know what? Because they're already going to know it's your first year or it's your second year or something, They chances are the majority of them know that. There's nothing wrong with letting them know, and letting them know what kind of a person you are and what your expectations are. But also, what kind of a person are you? I let my parents know everything. Everything that happens in the classroom, all the rules of the school, all the rules of my classroom, all the disciplinary practices from both the school, and of course they can read that in the kids' agenda books, but, I let them know. But I specifically let them know about the disciplinary acts, how I handle discipline. I'm not your typical teacher. I'm what you would call a non-traditional teacher. I'm not going to send kids to the office for every whip stitch, and I'm certainly not going to call you a parent. If a kid fiddle farts or burps in the middle of class, I will take care of that. That's part of my job. If you can't handle something like that, then you don't need to be a teacher. So I let my parents know. Chances are real good, unless something really bad has happened, like some, transgression, some big, something like a fight, or the kids are smoking a cigarette, or, bullying or something like that. Chances are real good I'm going to handle it, me and the kid. That's, so, I let my parents know that. You've got to just let them know everything. How you handle discipline, what you expect in the classroom, how you handle incentives. I love incentives. I would rather give my students, have them work towards something, give them something awesome to work for. I don't do the candy thing. Oh yeah, great job, here's a mint. No. I do have chocolate. I do love candy kisses. Mr. Mack is known for throwing out candy kisses. I throw everything out because it's fun. When my kids leave me, they're great catches. They can catch just about anything. But I don't give candy and my candy kisses out because the kids did something. Oh, great, you finished work. Here's a candy kiss. Are you kidding me? Dogs are trained that way. You give them a treat. Oh. My kids get a candy kiss when I feel like having a candy kiss. If it's a Monday and we're bored, I get bored too. I'll throw out some candy kisses. Come on. Little spurt of energy. They're in the middle of a test. Break it up. Throw out some candy kisses. Tell a joke. So let your parents know that kind of thing. All the incentives, all the things that the kids can look forward to doing. But at the same time, with everything that the incentives they have, they can also have disciplinary things taken away too. Most of the time, if you're a veteran teacher, a lot of them have maybe investigated or heard about you or know about you. If you're a new teacher, it doesn't matter. You let them know everything that you can, that you feel. If you already have a year under your belt, or two, let them know what you've learned that far, as far as your classroom goes. I let them know if my kid's not going to do something, neither's yours. Your kids, and they're going to grow. The kids will eventually grow to love you. But with the parents, you have got to give them everything. You've got to be truthful so that there aren't any surprises. Later on down the road, you don't want something to happen and say you've been doing it, for months. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, something happens. And a kid says something, and the parent's like, well, I don't remember so-and-so saying that. And even though you've been doing it for months, you've got to make a list. Let them know everything that will happen in your classroom and things that won't happen in your classroom. You got to let them know. Get it up front. Get it all out in the open. That's your first time to do it. Now, are you going to have all your parents come to open house? No, traditionally you don't. You'll have the majority, but there are some parents you'll never hear from them unless there's a problem. They won't show up for this, they won't show up for that, and that is what it is. But for the most part, making that first impression, let them know, let them feel confident that their kids are in safe hands. I can say as a parent that was more important to me. I didn't care how knowledgeable. You got to make sure your parents know that you're incredibly knowledgeable. As a teacher, that's kind of it's like, with a doctor knowing medicine, you kind of figure they do, So a teacher, you kind of figure they know what they're supposed to be teaching. But, I wanted to know, are you going to love my kid? Are you going to take care of my kid? Are you going to find my kid? Some kids come in with a rep. They had some problems. Well, don't listen to teachers that had those kids before. Don't listen to anybody because they're setting you up. You've got to feel that kid out. Sometimes you are the one who will make a difference to that kid who came in with a rep. I know I strive to be that, that teacher that tries to make a difference. Now, sometimes you got some hard cases, and you got to let your parents know that too. There's no kid who will ever argue with me. And, we will work that out between myself and the kid. And if I have to get the parents involved, I will. But 9 times out of 10, the kid and I can usually get on the same level. Some kids come in thinking they have to handle things. You got to let these alphas know that, for one, you're the alpha, and it's okay to give up their guard a little bit. It's okay to let old Mr. Mac take the reins. It's okay. You can trust me. I'm not going to let you fall. We don't have to let people know that you're letting me guide you, but some of these kids they have to feel it out. And let your parents know that you're going to love their kids. It's going to get to that point, and your kids are going to do great. So anyway, that's it. That's really what the main thing about these open houses and talking with parents. Be right up front. Let them know. Let them know what's going to happen. Let them know what's never going to happen. And anything else, it's like, as many years as I've been teaching, you don't know what you're going to get any given day. You don't know. Things change all the time, the good and the bad. So, but you've got to be pliant and adaptable, and you've got to be able to deal with it and keep your parents in the loop always. But at the same time, you can handle most of what happens in the classroom. If a kid's throwing spitballs, you handle it. You should be able to take care of most of what happens. So anyway, that's that for that. Always be honest. Always be yourself. Never be afraid to be who you are with your kids, with the parents, with administration, with other teachers. Speak up when you need to. Listen, most of all, especially you newbies. Speak up when you feel you need to, but at the same time, listen. And, listen to the ones that you feel closest to, because they're just, just like in any profession or anywhere, some people don't know what the hell they're talking about, and you'll feel those out. Just like the kids, you'll have a BS detector. You know, laugh alongside those people, but don't take a lot of what they say to heart or whatever, good or bad. Find that one mentor, find that teacher who you really feel good with, you feel good about, you trust, and have any questions, especially regarding your parents. Talk to them, let them know, but be upfront, be who you are, and you'll be fine. All right. Well, I hope I've made myself clear. I listen to these, and sometimes I'll say things, but I think you got it. So you take care. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.